The Heat got massacred by the Atlanta bench when that bench was already depleted because some bench players had to start. So it's like you're getting beaten in part by guys who would be on the third, five for Atlanta, not even the second five. I mean, it's just completely inexcusable. Like, I mean, when you talk about what's going on with the Knicks, we talked about this on the floor tonight. Like, Dragic and Herro should be the best backup backcourt in the league. But right now it's Rose and
I don't
Quickly.
think Goran has it anymore.
Okay. What's that? That's the look. I mean, that's the thing. If he doesn't have it consistently anymore, then maybe there's another conversation that we need to have. Maybe the conversation is not Herro or Nunn. Maybe the conversation is Herro, Nunn, or Dragic, because we keep waiting for him to get back to that level, and we all want him to because of how much everybody reveres and admires him. But the reality is, right now, Kendrick Nunn's outplayed him
Easily.
of late.
Not even close.
Right?
I mean, Goran's had some games here and there, but just in general, like I said, most games, he's not giving you that level of performance. I get he's out there and he's kind of like a decent, for example, like if you want to like kind of compare it to football, he's like a Matt Moore at this point. Like, he won't mess everything up for you. Like, he'll try to call up a screen and then find the shooter, right. But he just, like, on a consistent basis can't get to the rim and make stuff happen. And look, I think you're right. And I just think we're getting to that point where they're going to start managing his minutes down the stretch here. And I don't know. I mean, who knows? Because they can't really afford to do that based on the position that they're at in the standings. But given the guard situation that they have there, it just makes a lot of sense to give more playing time to Kendrick, even though he's been playing a lot, and just kind of have Goran rest games here and there. I just think he needs it at this point.
I would expect Goran to rest tomorrow. I don't think he'll play against the Bulls. I think you rest him and you play him in the Monday game, but I don't think you play him tomorrow. And I think we're at the point where it's not even so much about just resting him for his own sake. It's about resting him for the team's sake. I think it's about making sure you're playing the guys who can give you more. And the reality is right now, Kendrick Nunn gives them more. I don't see Kendrick Nunn as a player who comes out of the rotation on a consistent basis, for the rest of the season. I mean, provided he's still playing at a reasonable level. I mean, he was the one who kept them in the game offensively at the beginning. Bam did not have a strong game tonight. What did he end up with? 3 rebounds. I
think Bam and Jimmy only taking 25 combined shots is not good, and they tend to do that.
I think the number for them has to be 30, and it has to be at least a dozen free throws.
How about this?
I think 30.
Duncan and Kendrick combined took 26 shots together.
Right. That inversion for this team this year is typically not good. It's not. It has to. We saw the aggressiveness from Bam and Jimmy the other night in a game that we were like, okay, that's a game they should win, but not a gimme against San Antonio by any means. Okay, and they were aggressive. Tonight, they were not aggressive enough. Jimmy was aggressive late, but it was too late. Bam never really got settled. And let's just be honest, Bam got outplayed by John Collins tonight. He had the one block, but other than that, he did not play well enough. And their best players have got to be great, because otherwise, it's like I said, they're so reliant on Duncan to shoot well, or them to get something out of Herro or Dragic. And when you have like 3 or 4 things that are not going well one night, and the other thing tonight, Alex, and we can close it here, the turnovers, they've cleaned up the turnovers lately, but the way that bad teams stay in games is by turning you over. And they allowed Atlanta to turn them over all night tonight. And I don't think we can underestimate. This is a huge loss. I mean, they lost the tiebreaker now to the Hawks.
Bad loss. Yep.
I mean, this should have been a gimme to grab the tiebreaker, get out of Atlanta. You got two winnable games, very winnable games against Chicago.
I could not agree with you more. I mean,
it's a bad loss.
You had the tiebreaker there on a silver platter. Like, I know they have other talent there, like guys that can step up and take more of a ball handling load. Lou Will and Bogdanovich, Herder, Gallinari, they can all do a little bit more than they do when Trey's there. But there's no excuses. Like, that team, that should have been a gimme, like you said. And it was their fault. They turned the ball over, like you said. Like, they got 14 tonight. Nothing crazy, but you get your bench unit just completely outplayed, which has been a running theme throughout the season. And then you lose on the margins, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, you're down by a lot because you can't score on a consistent basis.
Right. And they kind of turned tail too. The effort went. They've had more humiliating losses this season, but in terms of the impact of this loss, this might have been their worst loss of the year. It just because of the tiebreaker, a team that they're chasing, the circumstances in their favor, and they just, frankly, they just blew it. So that's pretty much all we got to say about that tonight. We'll be